everybody. Welcome to the Chaplain Desk. I am Chaplain Emily Markowski. I work at a local hospital here in the Fort Wayne area, and I want to talk miracles today. I was starting to think about this because I'm sitting here, had a moment, and then I realized, hey, it's time that people know what has gone on in my life that makes me believe what I believe, and kind of give you an insight of where I am at spiritually. So here it is. A Satanist once asked me, okay, how can you prove that it was really God doing all this stuff? And I looked him in the eye and I winked and I said, because I'm still kicking. And that's the gosh darn truth right there. I was born with a genetic heart condition called aortic stenosis. My aortic valve was basically fused shut at birth. My heart was not functioning very well, if little. So 15 days after I was born, I had open heart surgery. During that time, in the 1980s, 1981 to be exact, really pediatric heart surgery was just taking off. There were strides made all the time for heart conditions and stuff like that. But there was just, they were starting out. They were just figuring things out for pediatric patients. So at 15 days old, the doctors gave me a 40% chance of life. And in between the time I was born and by the time I got to the surgery room, my mom literally had a friend, a nurse friend, helping her, keeping me and my heart beating for that period of time, which is a miracle in itself. So with the church that my parents attended praying hard, and a few other churches around our great nation, Iowa to be exact, and a few other places that my relatives had lived and been, I was completely covered in prayer. And just with the touch of a scalpel, nothing else, the touch of a scalpel to my valve, it was opened up, and this heart beat solid for 29 years. At 29, I had my second heart surgery where they said, it's time. That valve just needs to be replaced and we can go from there. And so, went in for my second heart surgery. The doctor was amazed at the fact that I did not have multiple heart surgeries prior to replacing the valve when I was 29. He said, usually patients like you that have this genetic heart defect usually have a few surgeries under their belt till we finally can fix it. So first of all, I survived. Number two, I survived in a big way long enough for them to just put a one and done deal of a mechanical valve in my heart and a pacemaker to keep me running, and we are good to go. So that's my biggest miracle in my life. The other medical miracle is that I was born with a condition which actually caused my genetic heart defect called Turner syndrome. Turner syndrome is basically a woman has a missing X chromosome, half or a full missing X chromosome from her makeup, and it only affects women. And basically, it will have people be shorter, and I am short, and it will also cause other genetic defects, otherwise known as my heart defect that I had at birth. And it also means that you're infertile. I found out all this information when I was 12 years old. I was literally alone. I didn't know anybody with the genetic disorder that I did. have. And I prayed and was in tears numerous nights praying that for some miracle that, I didn't have to hide. And during a math class, when I was 12 years old, I was walking forward in class to my desk, and a pencil fell off the desk, and I went to pick it up and give it to the girl. And as I looked at her hand, I saw the traits of Turner syndrome, and she whispered in my ear, "By any chance, do you have Turner syndrome?" I said, "Yes." She's like, "Me too." I'm gonna tell you, that amazing girl, her name is Nicole Polfus, saved me that day. And her mom teamed up with my mom and introduced us to a world of support during the time when I needed it most. Huge miracle, huge miracle. And it's what got me through. Unfortunately, Nikki did pass away. But she has left a legacy that lives on in my heart, because it just takes one stepping out of their comfort zone to heal and help another person. Okay, so let's talk about my mom. My mom, we always thought that, she always knew, you think your mom knows everything, and yeah. Well, my mom proved that she had the power of heavy discernment, especially when it came to us kids. Is it a mother thing? I don't know, but it stands strong in my family. The first time that, and again, it happened multiple times in my life, but the one that stands out the most was when I was married to a Marine, and he had deployed for his second time overseas. And I was alone and unpacking at a new apartment because we got into a new place before he left. I remember calling my mom one night, that night, and saying, "Mom, I'm really lonely," talking about like saying goodbye, and she's supporting me the best way. "Hey girl, I love you. Mama's here for you." And then as we were hanging up, she simply said, "Emily, I really need you to lock your door tonight to your bedroom." "Why, Mom? That's silly." "No, can you just promise me? Lock your door. That's all I ask you to do." Fine. So I locked my door, only to be woken up at 6 a.m. From my cell phone calling my landline. And as I answered it, a very deep, low voice came over the phone and said, "You're lucky your bedroom's door's locked because of all the things I would do to you." And all of a sudden, I'm waking up, and I looked out into the living room after I got that phone call, and my whole apartment was trashed. The funny thing is, this person called all of my worship team out in California being really rude, and so they knew something was up, and they came to my aid right away. But I was protected, I was safe, I was covered, and that's a miracle, because there are some women, some girls who don't come out of things like that, don't even come unscathed. There was nothing wrong with me. I slept like a baby, and God gently protected me during that time. Those are some significant miracles that have happened to me. So my question to you is, what would you tell somebody who asks, what's your proof? How can you prove that God did that? Well, I want you to think about it. I want you to ponder. Miracles are out there, and there is amazing stories, and I'd love to hear yours. So if you want to subscribe and make a comment below on what miracle happened to you, and how did you know that it was totally God that guided that whole situation. I love to hear them because I love God winks, God stories. So I hope you had a good day. I hope that this brings some insight, interesting to you today. I wish you the best and see you next time.